You got your toothbrush?
Check.
Do you have your deodorant?
Check.
Do you have your cozy clothes?
Got that.
What?
Do they know I'm black?
Should they?
You might wanna,
Mom and Dad, my black boyfriend will be coming up this weekend. I just don't want you to be shocked that he's a black man.
I ain't never seen you like this before, bruh. Meeting families and taking road trips. Don't come back all bougie, man. Come back, get your damn pants up to your damn stomach.
So you guys coming up from the city?
Yeah, we're just heading up for the weekend.
Can I see your license, please?
He wasn't driving.
I didn't ask who was driving. I asked to see his ID.
Call me Dean and you hug me, my man.
So how long has this been going on, this thing? We hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go.
Hello and welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast for Jordan Peele's 2017 horror film, Get Out. I'm actually the Explosion OX resident Scaredy Cat. Joining me today, Don Blight.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Let's just get this out of the way. Yeah, no more Get Out puns. Please be aware we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot themes in any of the movie, so if you haven't watched it, come back later.
Get out of here. Don't come back until and listen to us until you've seen the movie. Right? Nope. I don't want to hear any excuses.
Alright. With that said, let's jump to our discussion of Get Out. Directed by Jordan Peele, written by Jordan Peele, starring Daniel Kaluuya, Allison Williams, Bradley Whitford, Caleb Landry Jones, Stephen Root, Catherine Keener. Chris, an African-American man, decides to visit his Caucasian girlfriend's parents during a weekend getaway. Although they seem normal at first, he is not prepared to experience the horrors ahead. Dylan, what are your thoughts on Get Out?
Did I ever talk about this? Like, it came out. Did this come out when we did this podcast? I don't know.
I think it came out before.
Okay. Right. Yeah, Get Out's very good. I'm more interested to hear your thoughts because the thing is, and the thing that I find quite interesting is obviously in the lead up to this, the narrative was this: Jordan Peele's doing a horror movie. Jordan Peele, the guy, the comedian? Yeah, that's Jordan Peele. That's crazy. That movie's going to be terrible. There's no way he can do a good horror movie. Now, years along, I feel like to you hear Jordan Peele, you're probably thinking horror dude. That's how most people now think, like Jordan Peele. Like it's funny how the narrative changed.
Yeah,
completely shifted. So, to the point that Nope comes out on trailers and like whatever else, and you're going horror movie or whatever, even though it's like apparently more of a supernatural sort of space alien thing than a like horror movie. But but like your mind goes, that's probably going to be a horror movie. You don't even think it could be a comedy. You go, Jordan Peele's a horror guy. So it's funny how the whole thing's changed. But yeah, I mean, Nope is I think one of probably the most important horror movies. Sorry, Get Out. Get Out's probably one of the most important horror movies of the current century or whatever. Like as far as a changing piece, it's similar to like it's definitely up there with say the Ari Aster stuff or who the fuck else? Who's the person I'm meant to blanking on? Who the fuck it is? Or it's similar to like before that you had like 2013's sort of like some of the Blumhouse stuff with Insidious or whatever, like sort of reviving horror in that sort of way. And then you've come through now and you've got the Ari Aster like Hereditary stuff, and then you've got like Jordan Peele's Get Out, like where you got the social commentary on top of the horror and whatever else. Like it's like I think important place, but also I think it's important because from a filmmaking / director / whatever point of view, it's a really cool story of just how like I love there was an interview once where someone asked him like why horror, and he's like I always loved horror movies, and everyone looks at him funny like but you're a comedian. It's like, well yeah, you can be a comedian but also like horror movies, like why is that such a hard thing to believe? I always love like seeing some of those interviews where people are like so shocked that a guy who's funny could make even though quite often his movies, even though they are horror movies, have like a lot of comedy involved, and this does too. This has some quite funny moments, and the social commentary I think is meant to be so outlandish it's funny at times. And of course you've got Lil Ray Howery's character is sort of the bread and butter of the comedy, comedic relief, which is quite good. As far as this is also, I think, the first. Was it won best script? No,
he won best original screenplay. Yes.
Yeah, he won best original screenplay, which also best.
And he was also nominated for best picture,
director, best picture as well.
Best picture and best picture, best director, and Daniel Kaluuya was director for best actor.
Yeah, and I
which
think
is
that's
almost
huge
unheard of for a horror
unheard of for a horror movie, and unheard of for a non-white person. So that's doing a horror movie especially. So that's really cool. As a movie, I think it's fantastic. I was never like 10 out of 10. I was more around like the 8 to 9, or sort of like I think like there is some slight sort of towards the end. I think it just sort of goes like I don't love the way the ending plays out, and I still don't like. I feel like the ending's just a little bit like. I don't know. I feel like it needed a little bit more, maybe an extra 10 minutes to stretch things out there. I think I would have preferred or something. I don't know. I feel like there's a missed opportunity. It seems to like rush to the finish a little bit too much for my liking. I feel like they could have got a little bit more out of him being chased and like built the tension before getting to that same happy ending or whatever. Like, I feel like there's just a missed opportunity there. It seems like they ran out of tape or something, even though it was shot in digital. But otherwise, like the performances are all fantastic. It has these great use of music. The effects of like the swirling noises on the cup will always haunt me. And afterwards, the social commentary stuff I think is like super smart, and that's the part that most people talk about it. Especially because there were I read so many things after the movie came out where people, I think it was like, I can't remember who it was. Someone like Chance the Rapper, I think, like rented out like an entire movie theater. It was someone like that.
Yeah.
Or something. I think that was the story. But like only because all the subtle racism stuff that people don't actually think is racism was one of the hot talking points, like from not the horror side of the movie, but the social commentary side, the hey my brother, or whatever he says, hey my man, or all that sort of stuff. And just the way people talk to him with this sort of those sorts of conversations and what he has to deal with is this
is from Landry Baker for The Guardian. He wrote, the villains here aren't southern rednecks or neo-Nazi skinheads or the so-called alt-right. They're middle-class white liberals, the kind of people who read this website, the kind of people who shop at Trader Joe's, donate to the ACLU, and would have voted for Obama the third time if they could. The thing Get Out does so well, and the thing that will rankle with some viewers is it shows how unintentional these same people can make life so hard and uncomfortable for black people. It exposes the liberal ignorance and hubris that there has been allowed to fester. It's an attitude and arrogance which in the film leads to a horrific final solution, but in reality leads to a complacency that is just as dangerous.
So, yeah. Because I think this is the funny, like people who haven't watched the movie, I think they hear the movie's about racism and they think like Hicks or Nazis or whatever else, but none of the characters in the movie are outwardly racist. All the racism portrayed is that subtle racist stuff. In fact, they have no problem actually living inside the bodies of black people. That's literally the plot of the movie. So there's no like hate for them in the way that you would see on a Nazi or those sorts of things. It's the subtle things and what have you. That's the main focus of the movie, which unless you've watched it, it's sort of hard to understand. But I think a lot of that is a key reason it won the Oscar. I feel because a lot of that's like the smartest writing in the movie. The horror elements of the movie is still like it's an entertaining, good thriller. There's lots of like. As I said, like sound mixing stuff and whatever else that make the scares build up and the reveal of the girlfriend and being like psychotic. And there's some really good acting from her in this as well, where she's on the phone to Lil Ray Howery, and the fact that she's doing like the really nice voice while playing completely like fucking deadpan, because that's like how she actually is fucking psychotic. I think that's like a really good performance there. But no, I think it's a really important movie in recent like sort of movie history. So, really enjoyed watching it again.
I enjoyed it as well. I think it's a good movie.
Yay!
I don't think it's overly scary.
No, it's not. It's not really.
It's not scary. Really. It's just got obviously a lot of gore towards the end and like horror elements. But there is that tension built up throughout the entire film of like it's pretty obvious pretty early that something is wrong.
Yeah, you just don't know what.
You just don't know whether it's just this is a very awkward situation or there is something deeper. Here, I think, Daniel Kaluuya was amazing. I think Allison Williams is really great, even though I thought she was Lake Bell like the entire movie.
Thought she was what?
Lake Bell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, wow, she's great. And then I read the Wikipedia synopsis, and it's not.
Have you seen her and everything? Because like I was a big girls guy, so like obviously
that's probably why. Yeah, good. I don't think I probably have and not realized it since. But yeah, she's fantastic, especially the reveal where it turns out she's in on it, which I was fooled. Even though it should have been very obvious for her being able to find her keys for a very, very long time. Really, the whole idea of like of them just stealing bodies and it being like weirdly this modern version of slavery where like they're still there, they still exist, they're still in conscious, but their body is completely owned by somebody else. And the reveal that the two slaves that they've had around, or the two workers that they've had around, are actually their grandparents, was a fucking cool reveal.
Like the part there when she's like, "Get him, Grandpa!" You're like, "Oh shit!" But is that stuff like that's the like the sort of white obsession, like the part where like that dude's like feeling him up, going like, "You'd be a good like wrestler," or like your body shape would be, or even like the way the brothers like, "You're into UFC, you know, if you put in the work, if you worked really hard," because once you look back on the movie or watch it for a second time, like he's scoping him out then, like being like, if you put in the work and you did it with your DNA or whatever he says, that's like really gross the way he like says it. With your genetics or like something very specific. Yeah, but then you know why. It's because he's like scoping him out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to watch this film back a second time, like especially that scene where he's at the party, like replaying all those conversations with the context.
It's everyone scoping him out to buy later.
To buy him, yeah. That's really cool. Like even Lakeith Stanfield at the start of the movie, even though he's got a very small bit, throughout this film he's very memorable. And like him like being, "No, I'm not gonna not tonight."
Yeah.
Go back this other way. And then, you know, him breaking down even like small bits, like the woman, I guess the grandma, like constantly playing with her hair, the whole movie, that like paying off with it being her hiding the scar. That was really fantastic reveal. And then like the whole hypnotism elements, like I'd heard the sunken place mentioned before. That was a thing that had kind of become a thing, I guess,
a joke, like
for a small period. Like sunken place was brought up. So understanding that context was good. Catherine Keener, fucking scary.
The way they shoot all that stuff is like really well. Like the way he like sinks into the couch. And then...
I think I agree with you. His escape was kind of quick.
Yeah. I feel like that all I wanted is you just get like an extra 10 minutes with her hunting him and Grandpa hunting him. And you get like one final like proper thriller, like sort of tense build up. And then I would have actually had him losing or something, and I would have gone for a comedic sort of like save nearly with I would have had a little Ray Harry like come in at last second or something and like fucking shoot one of them or something, like right when you think like after they've been running around for 10 minutes in the bush or you know something like it's getting scary as fuck, you think there's no way he's gonna survive.
No, I don't mind that. I don't mind how it ends. I just like.
Or even if you do that, but I just feel like
I feel it's very like powerful. Like this black person, like getting their body back for a second and like killing them and taking his own life, like to stop himself from being a slave again. Very powerful stuff. But yeah, I think that the whole sequence of him getting out of the facility could have been extended. Even. I guess it kind of was because Caleb Landry Jones comes back a second time, even though I'm very sure he got clubbed to death in that room.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, Bradley Whitford, that was a hell of a kill. The deer head, like you couldn't find any other sharp objects.
No? Not in that room.
Didn't want to risk it not finding anything else, I guess.
I like the reveal of how he didn't fall for the like putting the stuff in his ears. I think that's like cool.
Yeah, very cool. I don't know how. Yeah, it would have been very impressive, like stretching his body out to fit it in his ear.
I mean,
and then
if you put your arm there,
yeah,
you can.
And then
you
but you have to turn your head the other way as well. You know.
Yeah.
So it would have taken some work, but he knew what was coming. So I mean, he definitely played it off like he was being watched or something. So, yeah, that was cool. Even just the moment with him and Catherine Kenner, like both staring at the teacup, just him flinging it across the room. Pretty great. But yeah, Allison Williams, fantastic. Even just like you said, the scene talking to Will Ray Howery, just the way she turns that conversation towards the end and freaks him out to get him off the phone. Yeah.
And then he hangs up. He's like, "Fuck, she got me," or whatever. My favorite line from him though is at the end where he says like, he's like, "How'd you find?" Oh no, like right at the end where he's like, "Found me" or whatever. He's like, "How'd you find your eldest?" He's like, "TSA." Fuck it. I sorted it. Like whatever. Like with TSA, motherfucker. Like
yeah, it's fun. His little side tour, I guess, during the end where he's putting all these clues together and like going to the actual police and like
they're laughing at him.
I mean, yeah, building up to that joke of them all laughing at him. So that was pretty great. So, yeah, I read apparently there was meant to be a different ending where
a darker ending
where he strangles her, and then an actual cop comes across. But because of so many shootings, he felt like it's kind of been covered too much. So yeah, I think this ending works really well. Sure, it's it's a happy ending, but it was needed. Anything else you want to talk about Get Out?
No, I feel like we
hit both
the key moments. Oh, really good use of music throughout. Like that's especially at the start. I like the way it like intercuts the two different songs.
There's the scene of Allison Williams sitting on her bed on her laptop, looking at new victims.
She has all the pictures. Yeah.
Yes, listening to "I Had the Time of My Life."
Yeah,
it's fucking creepy.
Yeah,
drinking milk, eating Fruit Loops.
Yeah,
just yeah.
She's hung all the pictures on a wall above her head.
Okay, what's your opinion? Is she just a psychopath, evil person, or was she a victim of the hypnosis?
No, she's a victim of being born into that family, I guess, from the get-go, because she's literally a little girl in that video that she's playing. However, she's definitely
she's doing it of her own free will.
Yeah, she's doing it of her free will, but if I was to diagnose her based solely on watching this movie as a character,
sociopath.
She's a sociopath, is how she's portrayed. So she's because she like everything's fake to her. She has no emotion. She doesn't feel anything. Like everything is totally fake. Like her whole life is just acting. She acts to meet these people to bring them in. It's like everything is an act. But when you see, that's why the phone conversation I think is the best, because she has nothing. It's all an act. Her actual real face is just void. It's just sociopath.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how do you rank these amongst the two? Obviously, Us is his other film.
Yeah, I put this as number one. I put Us second. I think they're both really, really good, but for different reasons. They're very different films. So,
okay.
Would you want to watch Us, or you?
I don't know. That seems like it's scarier.
Not really. I mean, it has like the thing is, you watch the trailers and but the trailer for this also seems like it's scarier. So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. I think I was expecting it to be scarier because obviously it's been built up as like this fantastic horror movie, but it wasn't necessarily because it's scary.
But I feel like the thing is, quite often when people say fantastic horror movie, I feel like in your mind you think, oh, it must be as fucking scary.
They must be terrified this entire time, these fucked up people who enjoy this.
But fantastic horror movie could just mean it's not as scary as you think and it's just a good movie. Like, did you ever consider that? Like a fantastic horror movie isn't ranked. I think we talked about this last time we did a horror movie with whatever, like what makes a good horror movie. What makes a good horror movie isn't to do with how scary it is.
Okay.
Like, it has to be scary to be a horror movie.
Does it though?
Well, to a degree. Like, it needs to have some sort of or at least tension. Thrilling elements. But.
Okay, final question. So Jordan Peele was interviewed by AP News to promote his new film Nope. And he was asked about a potential sequel to Get Out. When asked if he still gets questioned about a potential sequel to Get Out, he simply replied, "I do get that a lot. Never say never. There's certainly a lot to talk about left. We'll see." Dylan, do you want to Get Out sequel?
If he makes one, I have full faith that he's only doing it because he has an interesting story to say. So, would I say I want one? No. If Jordan Peele announced he's doing one, I would never doubt it for a second. I have no reason not to. I don't feel like he would give in. Like, he's not doing it for the money. He'd be doing it because he thinks there's a story worth telling there. So,
yeah, I would agree. But I can't imagine that this story feels very complete.
No, I feel like it would have to be. It'd be different characters. It would deal with, like, you don't know how many people they've sold to whoever.
That's true.
Like, it would be completely different characters, and it would be dealing with it some other way with just the basic world in which.
Oh, jeez, Lakeith Stanfield was her husband, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, imagine people like that all around. Yeah, the world or whatever. So. There's plenty of opportunity to do stories. You could just make up a million characters that they've sold off over the years. So, people. So,
yeah. All right. Let us know what you thought of Get Out by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Tell people about the show or leave us 5 stars. Anywhere you can leave 5 stars. And if you like this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.
Mine is a terrible thing to waste. Terrible thing to waste.
If there's too many white people, I get nervous.
No. No.
A mine is a terrible thing to waste.
Till next time, get out.
But for now, get out.
Get out. Nope.